Hey, you beautiful, sexy humans. My name is Elle, and I am the owner and designer of plus size clothing brand Lorenza James by Elle Dove. Um, I'm so happy to bring this video to y'all because, yes, as you can see on the screen, I am sketching again. That means today I have another story time planned for you all, but it's not just about my life, but really a lesson that I learned over the years of me being in business. It's really hard for myself, or at least it took a while for me to learn to be honest with myself and appreciate my own decisions and respect my decision making as a business owner. So this video is gonna be about learning how to listen to your own voice and being comfortable in that. And if that's your cup of tea, keep listening. All right, so a lot of you may or may not know this, but Lorenza James by Elle Dove was started in 2013 officially, and I launched it on the Etsy platform at the advice of one of my good friends at the time, who was also a fashion designer. It was the easiest, fastest way for me to not have to build a website because I did not know how to do that, and just be able to upload quickly and be able to reach my target audience. This is important for one reason, and one reason only, is because as I continue to be in business for myself over the years, the question was posed multiple times as to why I continue to be on the Etsy platform in general instead of owning my own domain and selling from LorenzaJames'Own.com. And it's a good question, but it spoke my decision making at the time was the first time for me to actually challenge outside opinions as to how I should run my business and stand firm in the best way that I believed my business needed to be ran. And y'all, I wish you could have been around because it caused such an internal struggle, because some of the people that I was getting advice from, actually everybody that I've gotten advice from over the years, I respect them. So whenever you're put in a situation where you need to kind of rely or go against what someone's advising you to do, it does make you kind of feel, well, it made me feel a little bit queasy at the time, because it was like, okay, am I wrong? Because there is this thing that people say, if you don't buy 100% in, mind, body, soul, and spirit, and dollar figure into your dream, then do you really believe that it's going to happen? If you operate from this space, then you are operating from a mindset of lack. Therefore, you don't believe that your business is going to thrive. Well, my thought process is that as a business owner, especially as a small business owner, your number one priority is to protect your assets. And just because something worked for someone else's business does not necessarily mean that it's going to work for yours. And that includes where money should go and how it is spent. So, challenging this thought process and having people in the industry kind of look down, and these are industry people, look down on the fact that Lorenza James was not on his own website, that was hard. But I trusted my own process. And I did, and there are other stories that I've read where one young man, he literally took all that he made and he put it all into his business. And he did all the things, but just because you do all of the right things on paper does not necessarily mean that you're going to render a profit. And he ended up going bankrupt and ended up having to rebuild his business from scratch all over again and kind of work it the way that he originally planned to work it, which was a much slower pace, but it still brought out everything that he needed at the time. And that's basically where I landed in my thought process. All right, so you might say that, that is sound advice. You should be on your own.com. You should own your own domain as far as your brand goes. What about the presentation? What message does that send to your audience? That's a good question, right? So, what did I end up doing is going to social media, because most of my business was generated through word of mouth sales anyway, and people who had met me in person at different events. I just did a poll and I asked the people who were shopping my brand, what are your thoughts? Is it unprofessional looking? Do you really care about it being me selling on Etsy as a way to reach you all? And the overwhelming thing was no. No, we don't care. We just want it to be easy to understand and easy to shop. And I can find you and I can get to you. That's it. That's all. And so that was the first major decision that I kind of wrestled with within my spirit and had to overcome. And I'm happy that I did, because, honey, when we crunched the numbers, it would have not been a sound decision to spend the money on a domain at that particular point in time just for appearances. Because while we operate in a space where appearance matters, and the appearance of your brand, which is basically your branding at that particular point in time, does matter, you still want to be okay with making sound decisions financially so that your business will continue to grow at the end of the day. And that was the space that I was in. As a small business owner, we are constantly in this, especially when you don't have a lot of funding or you're self-funded. You're constantly in this tug of war of spend the money here, take the money from here, put the money here. It's a constant tug of war. And if you're not careful, you can kind of end up on the wrong end, just trying to quote unquote keep up with the Joneses. So coming to that place and being like, okay, I'm not trying to keep up with the Joneses, but I do want to present a well structured, well branded presentation to my audience, because y'all deserve that. And to my customer, I want it to be easy to understand and easy to shop. I want you to have an amazing customer experience from start to finish. So that's where I chose to focus my money on. Now, the day that Lorenzo James does start to generate a much higher income in order to cover its own expense, because that's basically overhead costs, in order to cover its own expense, and we are not having to choose between, oh, are we gonna release this extra cute pair of pants, or are we gonna pay this month's basically this month's rent. Like, when we don't have to make that choice anymore, then I know it'll be time for us to move on to a more permanent home. But yeah, so that's the story of one of the hardest decisions that I had to make as far as going against some advice. But I'm very thankful because it taught me to trust my own voice in business. And here we are today. We're still here. We're still thriving. We're still kicking out collections and pieces. And we do still have a audience that is shopping us. So thank you so much for watching. I will see y'all next time. It has been an absolute pleasure. I hope y'all enjoyed watching me sketch. And comment down below and let me know a time where you had to make a hard decision or trust your own instincts over the advice that other people were giving to you. Anyway, I will see y'all next time. Bye-bye.